Hey, so it's your girl Dayna and as you can see, this is the last day we'll be shooting in this studio because the time has come. The time has come for new beginnings. We're in the era of the horse now. We're no longer in the era of the snake. It's time to shed the things that no longer bring us purpose, that no longer align with us. And I'm here today to do that part 2 to Dayna the organizer. So ironically enough, while I'm filming this, I'm in the transition of moving some people call this a podcast. I like to call it, the Dayna Show. I think that's kind of catchy, putting some affirmations in the air. This studio space that I've been using is actually one of my closest friends, apartments. And it served me. I mean, this loft space has really been where I've held it down for the beginning of Dayna Speaks. So all the chaos in the back, all the disorganization, all the boxes, it goes with the theme. Everything's always in alignment. When I first started talking about my journey as an organizer in that first episode, I spoke about how the gift came to me. The gift came to me when I was organizing something for my grandfather, and it was like second nature. It wasn't something that he necessarily asked me to do. Nobody necessarily asked me to become somebody that thinks in this very strategic, analytical way. It's something that just brings me joy. I've always been big on assisting. I've always been big on creating systems. I love functionality. I love ambiance. It's just all these things that make up the characteristics of a good organizer, right? And it's funny, I was on the phone with my friend the other day, and she lives all the way out in Houston. And when I think back on my journey of how I started to become an organizer, I think back on how it was always something I was doing, but something that I wasn't necessarily claiming. Like, being an organized individual is just how I live out life. And the people that I bump shoulders with, it's just natural for me to lend them that skill set that I have because it's kind of who I am. If you're going to be doing something, more than likely that's going to take strategy and efficiency. I'm going to be somebody that's like, I want to help, because it's just what I like to do, because it's kind of how I show my love, right? It goes a lot with my caregiving element of who I am. It goes great with It goes great with who I am as far as me liking to keep order. So I love things super clean, super in the place that they go. Everything has a home. That's like my favorite phrase ever, right? But when I started to understand this about myself, I started to understand this is who I am. This is a gift of mine. Gifts to me are literally just an extension of who you are, right? It's you showing your God-like self to other people through the abilities that you have. So when I always showed up as this organized individual or this strategical individual or this motivating individual, I never thought oh my God, this is something that I could use in the future to what I like to call jump through the matrix. So I remember it was a point in my life where I had just graduated with my master's degree from Roosevelt University. I had it in business administration, and I thought to myself, okay, let's get to business, babe. This is what we got our degree in. This is what I've always been the hustle type. I've never liked systematic structure around anything I do for money. And I think when I started that cleaning service, and I started getting frustrated with the fact that people weren't being able to really learn ways to be more functional, learning ways to be more consistent and disciplined, it started striking me that instead of going in there and just cleaning for people, I would be literally questioning them and making them answer questions to create a new mindset around their habits. And once I realized that, I thought to myself, this should be an organization company. You don't like cleaning. Number one, let me put this straight. It's not that I don't like cleaning. It's I don't like revisiting the same exact issue over and over again without it being solved. And I also don't necessarily like the actual feeling of cleaning something for somebody. That was never where my passion was. So when I created an organization company, it's funny, it kind of manifested into organization, to life coaching, to spiritual guide. A guy gave me that phrase, because when I explained to him what I was doing, you know, for work as a celebrity life organizer, he's like, you're kind of like a spirit guide. And I'm like, that's a very, very fucking heavy way to put it. But in a way, yes. Because every time I go into someone's personal space, or every time I meet them where they need me to meet them in order to have our consultation, I have to know so many things about this person in order to assist them. It's not just their space. It's not just their schedule. It's not just their finances. It's not just their friends and family or their partner. I'm trying to get a glimpse of who you are so that I can better get to the root of what's causing the dysfunction in your life. And when I first started my organization company, I'm like, I don't know who in the world, because I started off in my home city of Chicago. I'm like, I don't know who in the world is going to need this type of service. Even though my first client ever, when I think back on it before I even gave it a name, was my grandmother. I literally had to organize my grandmother's life constantly. Not that she wasn't a boss, not that she wasn't a trendsetter. My grandmother was the director in IT. She had that thing, right? But even she sometimes had the ability to kind of be just, I love my grandma, but me and her was so different in the space that my grandmother may be a little bit more all over the place with how she conducts herself or keeps things. Like, my grandmother would put something somewhere, we wouldn't be able to find it for months. It'd be like her purse. And I'm like, Grandma, wait a minute. And I had to start learning the real tangible skill of problem solving by taking steps back with her to be like, when's the last time we saw it? Where's the last place we had it? What's the last thing you did with it? And it was just how our dynamic worked. I never thought too hard into it because I was so young and I was a child. And you know, when you're a child, you don't really look at those things and think anything of them. But when you get older, you start to really see the root and the origin of how you molded yourself into be who you are today as an adult. So when I started offering this service to people, I thought I was just going to get people that needed places in their homes organized, right? But then I started going into people's homes and I started listening, because this is how it works, right? You step in there, somebody tells you what they think they need help organizing. Like, it could be bookkeeping, it could be a physical space, it could be a kitchen, it could be a living room, it could be I need help moving, I need help moving in. It could be so many different things. It all started so physical, right? And then the more I'm helping the person, you know, I'll walk into their home, I'll set up systems. I'm like, okay, we need to get this, we need to get that, we need to order this needs to change, this needs to be here, you need to do this every time you use this item. And I started to listen to my clients, and I started to get to the root as I'm in there of why their space may look the way it does, or why the thing that's disorganized is disorganized. So when I'm talking to people, I'm getting to know their background, I'm getting to know their habits, I'm getting to know their lifestyle, I'm getting to know the people in their life, I'm getting to know, it's so many things that we're unpacking as we're doing a task, right? So step by step, my clients will always let me know where their Achilles heel is. Now, an Achilles heel is a terminology where, I forget the story that goes with the Achilles heel, but I think there was a super strong individual. I don't remember the name, and I don't want to jag this story, but back in like Forelock days, or like, I don't even know if this was a biblical story. It was a story about an individual, and they were trying to figure out what their weakness was. And I think the heel of their foot, I think this was an ancient Greece story. The heel of their foot happened to be the thing that was their weak point. So they knew when that person was in battle, I hope I'm not jagging this story. If you hit their heel and that person's name was Achilles, they would go down, right? Like, okay, that's your Achilles heel, your weak point, your disadvantage, your shortcoming, your any verb that you can use to describe somebody's weak spot. So when I'm in someone's space, I'm not purposefully shifting for this, but it always reveals itself eventually. It could be somebody's in deep mourning. It could be an individual is burned out from living the life that they are living currently and they want to transition into a new life. It could be somebody is carrying the weight of anxiety because something didn't work out with them, or a romantic partner. It could be their pet has cancer. Like, it could simply be they have anxiety around the next level of where they're going to go in their purpose work or their career work. It could be them holding on to an old identity of who they used to be, but now they're a different person and they're afraid to tell the people around them. It could, do you see all these different things I've come in contact with over the years organizing for people? It could simply be that somebody lacks the confidence to express themselves to somebody and they've been holding that in and bottling that down because they don't want to ruin a relationship or a friendship. And I just started to notice like everybody has something. Everybody's carrying something. And that thing can start to slowly manifest in the different pockets of your life, i.e. your physical space, i.e. your mental, i.e. your health. So as I started this organization business, I really thought I was going to go in and I was going to exist physically in people's lives physically. And then I started to realize like, no, baby, this is spiritual and this is emotional. So my friend Brittany, my leading Virgo, love her to death. I used to have to decompress all the time. And when I spoke to Brittany about, you know, how many things I had on my plate or how many things I was trying to get done for different clients, Brittany used to always speak this on to me. She used to be like, you know what, Dayna, your skill set's so powerful that I know it's gonna get you in the doors that you wanna get in. And I'm like, baby, I don't have time for this. Look, I gotta get this call done by tomorrow. I gotta get this plant organized by Tuesday. She's like, no, just hear me out. You are a celebrity life organizer. And I'm like, I don't care about that. I don't even know why you brought that up. And Brittany's trying to tell me how she sees me, how she feels about me. And she's just like, I'm speaking this into existence for you. I know you're a celebrity life organizer because you have so much to offer and you could really benefit people in that type of space, in that type of arena. Plus, you're a natural entertainer yourself. I'm like, girl, I don't want to hear this. So fast forward, Brittany was absolutely correct.
What do I call you? Jennifer, Mrs. Lewis?
You can call me Jennifer.
Okay.
I only have my assistant call me Miss Lewis so we can keep the pecking order right. Yeah, she's new
Okay,
and she has said some things.
Oh my goodness.
Girl, she came in the first day and said, I was laying up in the bed, you know, diva in the bed, you know, saying I need to call this one and that one. And then I went off. I said, you know, when I was a child. And she said, Miss Lewis, before you go into that side story, we've got 4 emails to do.
Oh.
I never knew they were side stories. She scared the out of me. I said, what? I said, is that what they are?
She was absolutely correct. I mean, I'm in Los Angeles. It was bound to found me, but it's find me. It was just insane to me to think, though, that was my way of moving through the matrix. I mean, organizing. Now, there's been other things I could have capitalized off as far as talents, but for some reason, organizing got me in those rooms with those executives, with those celebrities, with those politicians, with those influencers, with those, it's just insane to me that by just word of mouth, like you go to one person and the next person, and you know, Los Angeles is a big city, but it's also a small city as far as reputation. So, you know, I'd be organizing this person's house and they'd be like, you know what, you'd be great for this attorney, or you'd be great for this judge, or you'd be great for this actress, or you'd be great for this. And I'm just listening to the different types of people they're recommending. And of course I'm gonna take the jobs because I had just started my business and I really wanted to get my name out there. And needless to say, it's been quite a journey, but I think I found a client right now that is super in alignment with me. It's such a beautiful exchange. And she takes up a majority of my time as an organizer. And I'm so blessed to have her. She's such a reflection of me. She's such a reflection of what I stand for. And right now, I'm just basking in how powerful it is for you to take the time to get to know yourself. When you take that time to know yourself and you figure out what you have to offer, that is all you need. This is kind of the advice that I was giving my friend in Houston, if you remember me, you know, bringing up earlier how she's out in Houston, she's trying to find her footing, and I'm just explaining to her, like, instead of thinking about where you want to be, which is great, sometimes it's so amazing to think about the end result. Think about who you are in this moment, what you do naturally, amazingly, and start to proposition that to the people that are around you. No matter who's around you, anybody you meet, let them know I am such and such and this is what I do. You'd be surprised how fast that will carry you through the ethers. I've gotten in rooms, I ain't gonna stunt, I already knew I was gonna get in the rooms. I just didn't know how I was gonna get in the rooms. Like, since I was a child, and I would meet people that I barely knew, they always was like, you know what, all you gotta do is get in the room. And I used to look at them like, okay, child, I'm trying to just make it through the day. No, it's a real thing, but what's gonna get you in that room is that thing that you can do that nobody else can do like you. You can't be afraid to show yourself to the world. It does not work any other way. But speaking of these rooms, speaking of all the things that I learned, and speaking of all those tips that I want to give you about how to be organized, how to set your gifts out to the world, you probably have to make a part 3 or part 4. I mean, the organization journey is just a whole branch on its own, a whole segment on its own. But I love you. Thank you for listening. Peace out. Sending you love from Dayna LeRae, or Dayna the Organizer. Peace. Wait a minute. Before I go, I forgot to put good energy. I just want to take a moment out, sending extreme gratitude to the universe for this space, for this alignment, for me creating what is such a powerful tool for me to give to the rest of the world through my voice. Thank you for holding me in this space. Thank you for creating my vision within this space. And y'all better meet me at the next space. So, namaste.